I got a confession to make here. Uh, I ran marketing at Pizza Hut, and we had very little low budget, couldn't really afford consultants. And then I got promoted to be the executive VP of marketing and sales for Pepsi-Cola company. And I went in and we had a huge marketing department, obviously. And everywhere I looked, there was a consultant. And I was like, what do you do? Because we had all these consultants running around, you know, doing what I thought was the job of the person that was in the job. Okay. And I got this belief that that many people who hire consultants are just lazy. They don't do their own thinking. And so then I end up running Young Brands, and we're also, very frugal. I mean, I had this I had this phrase, "If it looks like a consultant did is start over." I had all this, disdain for consultants, and then, we did end up using consultants a couple of times. I'd be curious as to what your reaction is to that, and when should you hire a consultant?
Because I know you're a pretty avid golfer. Do you have a coach?
Uh, I have had few coaches.
I think it's pretty hard to find a great athlete that doesn't have a team around them, right? And usually that involves there's someone that's helping them from the mental, and there's someone that's helping them train physically, and there's someone that kind of is an expert in, if we take golf, the swing or the short game or and we would criticize them only if they don't have that team around them. And I think a big part of what we are is we are that team around the great athletes to help make them better. And part of that is no matter how good you are, you don't see what's going on, and and it's little things that make all the difference, right? It's the way I approach that particular shot, or it's the way I've kind of worked my swing to get. And no matter what, you can't do it, and you need someone by your side. And so I think a lot of what we do is we are the coach for the great athlete, because the teams that the clients we work for are great companies, and they're doing extraordinarily well most of the time. And you've got incredible leadership teams who are leading some of the most important institutions on earth. Of course, these are some of the most capable people you've ever encountered. But so are the LA Dodgers, or pick your favorite college football team. But yet, all those athletes, all those Olympians tend to have people that are helping them perfect their craft. And I think that's a big part of what we end up doing, certainly as senior members. My experience has always been, and I've had some of my clients I've served for the majority, if not all of my career, it's very hard to bring someone in that doesn't know the organization, that doesn't know the team, that doesn't that for which you have to build trust. Because those things, to do that, to take the leaps of faith that we as a firm and we as consultants will push organizations to do, is a leap of faith. It is, you have to really have trust in that person, that they have your best interest. I don't think that works well transactionally. My philosophy has always been, I am extraordinarily long-term urgent with my clients. As I said, I've served one client for 28 plus years. And there are times when we're not engaged at all. There were times we were thrown out of the building. But that didn't stop me from meeting with the executives and ensuring that I always kind of knew and provided perspective. And when the time was right, and that time was the organization was ready, that executive was ready, we would really be there to work side by side with them to get to a mission that they didn't think was possible. And when there wasn't, we would still be around, or certain of us would certainly still be around. And I think that's really it, is you have to build folks around you that you can trust, that can be with you through all periods of time, including when you don't need them as much. If you're on a heater, you don't really want to make a lot of change. But that doesn't mean you don't want that team around you, seeing what you're doing, and maybe just actually saying, keep going. You're on a heater.